So here we are in Mumbai, in the airport once more. We were here 3 weeks ago going to Delhi, and now we are going back home. The airport is the same. A beer is like 7 euros, so European price. Yeah.
We're sleepy, ready to go home. Not ready to leave India, but ready to go somewhere and sleep. We still have a lot of miles to fly. But we loved India, and I, for one, don't really want to leave. But alas, we must. And I'm really, really tired. Really sleepy.
It is really sleepy. I'm also sleepy. So sleepy. Anyway, the thing is that I love India, and it seemed like forever, 3 weeks, and still it's just not enough to see a lot of it because it's so big. So like you have to come back.
There's so much going on in each of the large cities.
It's amazing, yeah. Like I think you should come to India with a very specific purpose. Like you should have a goal. Like I will be discovering the spiritual parts of India or myself, or I will go visit this and this city, or you know, stuff like that, because you cannot do a lot. Anyway, the point is that
our spiritual journey is now almost over.
It's over.
We got what we came for, I think. And we're going now to sleep. Sleep it off.
I don't know if it's over. I don't think the journey is ever over. I think this is the journey. You never get anywhere except for, you know, places, but getting to a place doesn't mean you're getting somewhere. Or
clearly we're pretty tired. let's wrap this up.
Okay.
And get ready for our second of 3 flights.
Our second flight, yeah. The 10-hour flight, we're flying from Mumbai to Amsterdam, and then after that we're flying Amsterdam to Perth. That was the cheapest flight.
There you go. We wanted to see India. This was the only way we could do it. Goodbye, India. It was real.
It was surreal, yeah.
It was tasty, and it was smelly, and it was spiritual at times.
The best thing of it is that it's really adventurous. That's my favorite part. It's adventurous, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff. Like if you want something, you can really do it. Like go places, see stuff, visit stuff, take pictures, talk to people. You can do whatever you want it to do. The thing that I liked not so much was the food, because it actually causes habit.
The screen. It's causing. No. It's causing.
You're asking me to hold a camera?
Yeah, it's. Okay. So the food is causing me some tummy issues. Like my stomach is burning for the last 2 days, and I cannot really enjoy my life or any kind of food, or yeah. So that's the thing. It's not working for me. So. But
avoid the spicy food.
Yeah,
so if you come to India the first time,
and it's really hard because in India everything, like literally everything, is spicy. From tea, chai, to any kind of starter pastry. I don't know. The sweets are not that spicy, but they're really sweet, and it's so hard. And try to explain to a local you don't want spicy food. Good luck.
Yeah, spicy is kind of the norm here.
But otherwise it was an adventure, and I liked it. And I would come back.
We will come back.
And if anyone would ask me if I recommend visiting India, I would ask you first, what do you like to see? Or what do you want to do? Okay, that's it. Goodbye, India.
Goodbye, India. It's lovely.
We are still alive, boarding for our last flight, going to Bucharest finally.
The last time you took a video, it was almost 20 hours ago.
It was on a different continent.
We were still in an airport.
It's still in the airport. Now we're going home finally, and we're a bit delayed, but doesn't matter because it's our last flight, and we're gonna eat some baked potatoes for my mom. It's gonna be us. And sleep till tomorrow when we go to work.
We're in Amsterdam and it's already a culture shock just because we've gotten so used to India.
Yeah, so this was our trip. Probably we'll do a impression session later, but till then, see. As you can see, we made it back home safely. This is the last vlog of the India vlog. Felt like in the last one we should include a brief session of conclusion. Been home for like 4 months already, and I remember at the beginning it was such a shock coming back home because I don't know, everything is so much easier here.
Would you be as shocked about India if when you go there for a second time or third time?
No, actually that's the thing. Although some people pointed out that I'm a terrible person, I was mean to, you know, certain aspects of India, I don't feel I was mean. I was just trying to be objective about it and just tell people that haven't been to India how it's...
Same, it's like a culture shock, but that, you know, happens everywhere in the world, right?
So I wrote down some points that I would like to address really briefly. By the way, this is our dog, and he's very cute, adorable, I might say.
He looks like a piece of candy.
Yes. So I would like to address some of the followings. Let's start with the traffic.
It's weird. I mean, on the one hand, it's really stressful, but on the other hand, it's really impressive that there's so much going on at every one time, and people, you know, they just manage to cross the street. So many vehicles, different sizes on the road. They manage to travel, usually long distance, using those roads. So that's impressive, you know.
Yeah, you have cars, lorries, cows, bikes, yeah. All kinds of
obstacles,
vehicles.
Yeah, that should make you a really good driver though.
So yeah, and then for a first timer in India, I think that's what spooks you out.
I was just remembering that whenever I cross the street with somebody from India, they do it much differently from me. I would just sit there and look, you know, left, look right, oh, left, right, and cross the street. But they just go, you know, straight on. You go, yeah. Come with me, come. And we go, no, I'm definitely waiting here. But nothing happened to any of them. So.
What about the honking? The constant honking.
It's you know what I'd compare it to when we were watching the World Cup in South Africa. It was something very different because the supporters there were using the vuvuzelas, and you kept hearing this, you know, this loud honking noise. And after a while, you sort of got used to it. You didn't think about it. That's kind of what India is, because you don't. It's not like nothing prepares you for it.
Yeah.
But you hear it, and it just becomes like background noise at some point.
Yeah, but now watching back the videos, it's like, wow, what's up with that noise? Like, what? Because. Imagine that the moments that I actually filmed and put up online were the moments that I considered to be not so noisy, and there were like something going on and it was not noisy, you can actually hear stuff, but like people complain that why didn't you use a microphone, and it's not really audible, and well, I thought it was, so you can imagine the rest of the time when it was total madness. Across the street, the honks, and constant traffic. So that's the main thing in India, and you just have to get used to it because India is a big country with a large population. and that's how things are. And I think that was for me the main shock, that I was never alone. Like there were always constantly people around me, and I'm very sociable, but we also are used to our space.
So it depends on.
So yeah.
It depends on how you decide to see things, because in a way it's weird because you're always surrounded by people and they're very, they're very talkative, they're very sociable.
Yeah.
So that gets a bit tiring maybe, but at the same time it's so different and nice from even Europe. Romania is kind of a warm place, but if you go to like Germany and other countries, like people they have like their personal space, they don't talk to each other. But in India you could approach anyone, or they could approach you and talk to you. Even if some of them didn't really know English that much, a lot of them did.
Yeah.
But it was a very, very friendly place. What's the part that's usually visited by tourists?
Oh, it was very visible from our trip that Delhi and the Golden Triangle, it was very mainstream for foreign tourists. And then once we got a bit further away from Delhi and like Agra, Taj Mahal and stuff, it was more like not local, they have their own tourists going on, but seeing foreigners at some point in Kumbh Mela, it was something out of this world. And I remember you said at some point when you saw blonde guy, you said, "Oh, this is my brother, I want to hug him." It was, but it was a joke. It was like
I said hello to him just out of reflex. Because I hadn't seen I hadn't seen a European for so long. I just felt like naturally I didn't think about it, and I just like nodded my head, hi.
Yeah. So at some point, once you get a bit further away from the big sites, it's just different, and it's different in a new way for us, of course. So people get the impression that India is really crowded, and it is, but it's really impossible to imagine how do you get by with all that things going on, because it's definitely a different environment, so you're not used to it, you're not ready for it, you've never been in that situation before, so you really have to explore outside your comfort zone. And basically everything you do and see and act in India is different than anything that you've done before, so you really need to be open. That's why a lot of people say to go to India with an open heart, and now I get it, because you're gonna encounter it and you're gonna be you're gonna find yourself in new situations, and you just need to get by and be creative. And well, nothing is impossible, it's just very, very different and new. So the traffic, the way you, I don't know, get everything, how you get a bus, how you get food, how you go to the accommodation, how you get, well, the taxi was not that hard because some bigger cities have Uber, so that was a big relief. Oof. But like everything was just, no, this is not like getting a train ticket, even that was an adventure. And the first 2 times, although we spent so much effort to find where and how, and we couldn't manage to get it because we were like there were not train tickets anymore, like they were sold out. So you need to be aware of a lot of things, and nobody will know how to help you before you get there, because you have to be there and see how things happen at that point, in that day, at that moment. And it's just very offline life, which we are not used to anymore.
It's challenging. I mean, a friend of mine said that if you've never gone, in Europe you used to do military service 1 year. If you've never done obligatory military service, India is the place for you. It's not, it's not terrible, but it's challenging. It keeps you on your toes.
Somebody recently commented on the last vlog and said that there are a lot of tourists and foreigners and travelers that start their journey in India from the south, and apparently those are the ones that fall in love with India the hardest. So if they said like it's a nice place where you visit, because we visited apparently very old cities of India.
well, they're old, but now I realize like that's really historically and religious and very, very old and religiously significant. But if you start from the south, it's the nature is different, the people are different, so I think it's very important where you start your journey from. So,
How long would it take to do if you're a new tourist and you wanted to see just about all of India? How much time would it take?
oh, it depends on the pace, the travel pace that you are I don't know, at least 6 months to a year, I would say, if you want to see India. And this brings us to one other important topic, I would say, the religion. And it's one of the aspects that attracts a lot of foreigners and tourists. And when I talk about tourists, I'm talking also about Indian tourists, because they also travel around for their religious festivals. Like we went to Kumbh Mela, which is their biggest religious festival and one of the biggest gatherings, human gatherings on earth. Going deeper and deeper into something that you have no connection to, it's really not for everybody, and it's hard to adapt. So religion is a big thing. India has a wonderful mixture of religions. They don't discriminate, they accept each other, which is really wonderful, and that's really to applaud.
The spirituality in India is probably it's the heart of the country. That's the most interesting part for me.
Tired. I have to say, I was constantly feeling tired because all of the traffic going on. The traffic, the people, I get really tired when a lot of things happen around me, so I get tired and I don't know what to say. Okay, don't know. Yeah.
It was winter, but it's still very hot.
But it was perfect.
Was it perfect?
Yeah, it was good, because otherwise it would have been.
Alright, go on. Yeah, alright.
Precis.
Testa minuto. You talk a lot.
Era ideea să vorbim repede și unul peste altul, nu să stăm să ne ascultăm ca la interviu.
N-ai unde să intri.
Ba da.
Hai, zi. So we were tired, right?
Da.
Why were you tired?
Dar nu mai întreba pe mine, că nu e un interviu. Era ideea să vorbim unul peste altul.
Oh. So what was making you so tired?
I told you. What was making you so tired?
The heat, mostly. And you had to travel a lot, and there's not a lot of space, narrow streets, things like that, so you're advancing at a very slow pace.
Yeah.
Kind of that. I was looking for a guru, didn't really find one. That took a lot of energy.
As a lot of people have asked me, was it dirty? Yes, India is dirty, and well, I don't know. Was it dirty?
Is it dirty? It's really large, so it's hard to say. If you're just going on the streets, which is the best thing to do, just walk around and talk to people, it's a bit more, it's a bit less clean than you would expect. But then again, our city is pretty dirty, Bucharest. It leaves a lot to be desired. It's different, but I think a lot of it also has to do with how large it is, how many people there are there. So a lot of it is just natural. But yeah, plus we did a lot of walking, which people there, they don't do so much. They usually go by car or tuk-tuk, so you got to see everything. It is a bit, I mean, I wouldn't lie, but at the same time I think it's kind of natural when you have so many people, such a big place.
To sum it up, India is challenging, is
spiritual.
Yes, it's very tight, connected, tight to the religious side, so you should expect that. It's crowded, so if you have an issue with a lot of people, then you could feel uncomfortable, but not crowded in a bad way. It's just, There are a lot of people, so you should definitely know that. Oh, and I want to add just the food. Like the food is spicy, and
It's
if you
amazing.
like, and it's very good. Although I don't eat spicy
I miss
food.
it every day.
But after 2 weeks, I couldn't take it anymore, so I started to feel sick a bit. But just because I'm not.
We've never eaten that much McDonald's in our lives.
Yeah, and luckily for me, the food at McDonald's is vegetarian, so I was able to eat some of my meals at McDonald's and not feel so sick, because each time I was eating just a bit of spiciness, I was burning inside, and it was just.
But it's kind of like vegetarian heaven, right? Because 90% of the food you find there is veggie stuff.
Actually, it's hard to find meat-based products,
which is
awesome.
Great.
So yeah, for me the food is very important. I love food, but most of the time it's a big issue because most cultures have a lot of animal products in their cuisine. So that's why when I find vegetarian food, I love it. So India is definitely the place for that. But take care with the spices, because it could really. India is
spiritual,
different,
crowded,
challenging,
beautiful,
amazing,
friendly,
not so full of English speaking people.
That's true. Yeah. That's about all I had.
Religious?
Well, yeah, that too. It is spiritual and religious.
Tiring?
It's tiring to travel it, yeah.
Big?
Sure.
And spicy?
You never forget the smell of those spices now. And great tea. They make great tea. So if you go to India, first thing you do is you find a really crowded place, right? You know, like this really crowded restaurant where regular people eat. And you go inside and you ask for regular food and some tea, some hot tea. Brilliant. Wash your hands before you eat. They have sinks there, so that's convenient.
It's good to do at the restaurant.
You're gonna eat with your hands, so, which is really nice. Food tastes better when you eat it with your hands, but there's so much, sauce and grease gets all over your hands and your beard, but it's worth it. And they have this thing, I forget what it's called. It's like this bread, and it has cheese inside, and it's really spicy, and it gives you they give you a bunch of sauces.
Dal?
Was it dal?
I don't know.
And that was the best. That was by far the best. Yeah.
Okay.
Can't eat it every day though. Can't.
Spicy. Okay.
Too spicy.
So, yeah. I think we can sum it up and say we are looking forward for our next trip in India, to India. Hopefully this year. Definitely going to the south this time.
I want to go to the north.
I want to go to the north too, but it's big. Maybe to some islands. Maybe to go to Sri Lanka as well.
That'd be beautiful.
Yeah. Meantime, just I don't know. We'll just be around Europe, I guess. Hey. India.
India.